with all due respect, I'm so happy I don't have a daughter for specific reasons, which I don't want to focus on, but that's kind of messed up. But if I heard somebody that was supposedly have parents that dated my son or whatever, I don't know where my son is. And something happened maybe. Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Meat Puppet. I got a very weird video for you today. It's kinda weird, little sad, mysterious. It's about Gabby Petito. This girl, she was like traveling or something like that, vlogging and everything. And I was about to make a video. I did the whole video, but then I saw a weird update. And I decided, let me just see this update, and it seems they are explaining it in great detail, and it's very important if you just want to understand the situation and the frustration without all the things on social media, how people are like they know how he feels, how he talks, he's smiling. No, 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 no. Let's be focused. We don't go to journalists for an investigation report. No.
So for those of you that don't know, Gabby Petito is a 22-year-old girl from New York who went missing during a cross-country road trip with her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. Gabby is from Blue Point in Suffolk County, and she was reported missing on September 11th, 2021, so literally just barely, by her mother. Here is what we know so far and kind of like a timeline. Gabby and Brian started dating in March of 2019 and moved to Northport, Florida, where they lived together in his parents' house. According to both of their Instagram accounts, they got engaged in July of 2020. She wrote on hers, "Brian asked me to marry him and I said yes. Brian, you make life feel unreal and every day is such a dream with you." And he wrote on his, "My biggest fear is that one day I'll wake up and it will have all been a dream, because that is what every second has felt like since the moment we found each other. Till death do us part, or until I wake up, I'm so happy the answer was yes. Love you, honey." And I do have to say that this couple was kind of like aspiring to be an Instagram couple, so a lot of their life was documented on Instagram, YouTube, social stuff, so that's kind of why this is going to come in.
What makes you say that?
They were just posting like a lot about their relationship. They were starting YouTube channels together. And people who knew Gabby even said it was kind of like her dream to do this. It wasn't really his, but it was hers. So she was trying, like she was working towards this goal of being able to do this full time.
Well, it sounds like they were traveling a lot as well. I know we're going to get into it. But
Yeah. So we do know, though, that Gabby's mom has since come forward and claimed that the couple actually called off their engagement before they went on this big cross-country trip where she went missing. And she says it was because they were too young and it was too fast.
So if I have to be honest, of all the things that I just watched because I did the previous video, nobody is saying these details. Everybody is listening to TikTok, journalists and all this stuff, but nobody actually made the compilation for all this information. So I gotta give it to this woman. Woo! You're doing great. Thank you for this. I don't like fishy stuff.
He was quite jealous. He was quite possessive. The day that van was pulled over in Moab, remember, with the police officers, and we have all the body cam footage. That fight started that morning, Nancy, because she was working on her social media.
YouTube couples actually do this where they like take a van, they turn it kind of into like a camper. There's a kitchen.
Yeah, I've watched a couple and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they like live in this and they just travel around and live in this. And actually Garrett's asked me to do this a lot before, but that is not my personality, so we haven't done it. But yes. But Brian and Gabby Gabby mainly had watched this like you had and was like, I want to do this. And then Brian was on board, and so they decided to convert this van and quit their jobs and travel and try to, make a living doing that. So on July 2nd, 2021, after converting Gabby's van, Gabby and Brian decided to embark on the 4-month cross-country road trip, which was Gabby's dream, like I said. They departed from Blue Point, New York, because they had actually been there to celebrate her younger brother's high school graduation, so that's where the trip starts. On July 4th, Gabby uploaded the first picture from their trip to Instagram. It shows Gabby in between some rocks at Monument Rocks Natural Landmark in Gove County, Kansas. And then Brian also posted the same day a picture of him on their van at the same place. On July 8th, 10th, and 11th, 2021, hitting national parks as they go. On July 16th, Gabby posted from Zion National Park in Utah. On July 18th, she posted photos of their campsite in Zion. And this timeline is important because of what we know later that he's not really talking. This Instagram is like, okay, she's alive and she was here on this date. This is helping us try to figure out when everything went wrong. 3 days later, on July 21st, Gabby posts a picture of herself in Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah. She posted again from Bryce Canyon saying it rained every night they've camped in these national parks and that her and Brian have continually had to fight over blankets. On July 26th, 4 days later, Gabby's account shows photos of her and Brian from the Mystic Hot Springs in Monroe, Utah. She posts again on Instagram on July 31st, still from the Canyonlands National Park. And then she goes silent on Instagram for 12 days.
So everything right now, though, seems super normal to me.
So on August 12th, Gabby posts twice. One is just a photo of a landscape, and then the next is a series of photos from Arches National Park in Grand County, Utah. But also, and this is kind of the first sign that things aren't good, on August 12th, the same day she posts these, according to a Moab police report, the Moab Police Department responded to a potential domestic violence incident between Gabby and Brian after a man identified as Christopher contacted the police. And we have body cam footage of this. This is the hour-and-a-half long body cam footage I watched.
So that is this footage.
What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday and camping got flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving. I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me?
If you say that you're distracting somebody, I'm sure you're trying to take the blame, but he's the driver, right? So if the driver made the mistake and you provided answer, I'm not saying it proves something is wrong. All I'm saying is I take that as a notice because I know girls that feel or like in a gangster situation with a man, they apologize a lot.
But the only person who can answer this question is you. Think very hard before you answer the question. Do not quickly answer. Think very hard. When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do to him?
No.
What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish by slapping?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me about this.
Well, it doesn't sound to me like she attempted to injure him.
I just think, I'm not blaming the guy, but the way she responded is just a little weird. I didn't expect her to cry about that. You can be saying that it's sympathy crying because this video was already out there. Everybody was talking about it like, hey man, we shouldn't be always agreeing with her. She might have done a mistake. It's always like the woman thinks she can hit. Oh, that's normal. Not people. I'm not talking about it. Don't call me that alpha male and alpha girl. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking that I notice a few things and I take note of it. Simple. For the future, for whatever might happen.
So the responding officer actually ends up pursuing Gabby and Brian in their vehicle, the van, because the man who called, they were fighting outside the van first. And then he calls the police. That's how physical and loud this fight got. It was in a parking lot. And then they eventually worked their way into the van and drove away. So by the time the police were responding, they were having to pursue them, like following them, chasing them in the van.
Got it.
Eventually pulls the van over after the van was driving 45 miles per hour in a 15 mile per hour zone. And it was also driving erratically. It was colliding with the curb. It was swerving lanes. Like obviously something was going on.
That's kind of crazy. 45 when it's supposed to be 15? I'm not used to miles. I'm used to kilometers, but damn. That's kind of crazy, and it's swerving and they're hitting the bumps. That was the thing that he was saying, like
The bump there.
I was distracting him from driving. I'm sorry.
What? And she's like, I'm distracted. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a messed up situation. I'm happy that the cops actually separated them for a night, hoping it can be chill. But I would have taken that so much in serious, like in a way like, hell no. If you are driving 45 in a 15, swerving, and you would surprise they're still alive for some odd reason hitting bombs? Ah man, if I was that cop, I would have arrested them and just sent them home. Because it's weird. I would be not even confident enough that, hey, this is going to get good.
So the officer pulls the van over and approaches Gabby, and Gabby's crying in the passenger seat and Brian is driving. She actually cries the whole time the officer is there. Like every time she's on the footage, she's not crying. He didn't believe the situation actually escalated to the level of domestic assault as much as a mental health crisis. So that's what they classified it, which is why no one ends up being charged.
Like almost like they were both having breakdowns.
Yes.
If certain people are having a battle in a car going 45 miles, 30 more miles than you're supposed to be, and they're not afraid, and they're, I don't know, maybe it's me. I'm an overprotective person. Isn't really taking consideration maybe somebody else that's coming from the other side, you know? Or somebody that might cross the street, you know? I don't know. Maybe it's me.
I arrived on scene and observed as 2 park officers also arrived. So there's multiple police there. I assisted Officer Robbins with his investigation until I was called away to a different report. Before leaving, I spoke with the male driver of the van, which is Brian, and the female, which is Gabby, and also called Chris to get more information from him. And Chris is the guy who called the cops. So he spoke to the witness as well. All 3 individuals gave me a similar and consistent story, consisting that Brian had some sort of argument with Gabby. Brian tried to create distance by telling Gabby to go take a walk to calm down. Gabby didn't want to be separated from him, and so she began slapping him, hitting him. She was getting frustrated as he was like saying, go walk away. She was like, no way, we're going to continue fighting. Brian begins yelling at her, get away from me. He gets in the car, he locks her out of the car, and then the officer says he grabbed her face and pushed her back as she pressed up on him and the van. That's how it was worded.
Okay.
He tried to lock her out and succeeded, except for his driver's door. She opened that and forced her way over him and into the vehicle passenger side before it began driving off. So this is what Chris, the witness, saw. They're fighting outside the van. He gets in the van, says leave, locks her out. She goes over to his door, pulls it open, hitting him, scratching him. He's yelling, pushing her, get away. She climbs in the van over him and gets in the passenger seat, and then they begin driving away.
Okay.
Well, I can see that happen. You're quite pissed. Oh, well, yeah, you keep it angry. Okay, I'm gonna drive. I would never drive. I would never drive with a crazy woman in that moment. If a woman has issues to talk, I understand it, but in my experience, you have to be able to be like, I can't talk to you if you're so much in my face. And if they were sleeping outside and it was rainy and they were fighting over blankets, whatever you see on social media, usually it's 10 times worse in happiness and gangsterness, you know? And woof, I would never drive a car if my girlfriend ain't chill. No. I know when your reactions are dangerous. Let's just say that.
Both Brian and Gabby said afterwards that they are in love and engaged to be married, even though both her family has said that they've called it off, and they desperately don't want to, see anyone charged with a crime. There were no significant injuries reported, and both agreed that Gabby suffers from serious anxiety, and so that's why they just said we're not going to charge anyone.
It's pretty crazy so far.
Yeah, Gabby is distraught and sobbing the whole time. Gabby says that she shoved, scratched, and hit Brian. Brian says like he shoved her off in defense. Brian actually has scratches and marks on his body that they take pictures of.
And what's weird is a lot of people on those videos, they keep complaining that Brian was defending himself with a smile. And I'm like, how do you want him to defend himself? Like the Hulk? There's nothing he can do to look good. So he's gonna look the smiliest he can be because, hey man, it happened. Well, you laugh it off because you have to be a man, And you do what you have to do. I'm not advocating whatever happened to the girl because the girl actually dies. I'm just surprised how people can make an opinion of certain people that I'm like, you don't even know these people. Journalists. I'm like, Look at the freaking evidence. Let's wait for the result. And that's going to be the rule. You can't Twitter your life in an investigation by giving your freaking opinion. Are you crazy? Even the father that watched that video says, I don't care about that freaking video because it's distracting me from my mission. Great, good daddy. And he made sense.
They didn't see any signs of any physical altercation. Could you glean anything from that video?
Listen, I myself couldn't bring myself to watch the whole video, but that's me. Yeah, I get it, but it distracts from my main focus right now. That video does nothing to help me find my daughter.
Yes.
Because that was on August 12th. I last spoke to her on the 21st. So anytime after that, when Nikki spoke to her, anytime after that is where we're concentrating on. Whatever you want to call it, as it can be, distracts from everything that we're trying to do.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
He says that the fight started because they were both annoyed. He was dirty and she was bothered by some flies. She says that she was working on her website and he was giving her crap and not believing in her. So Gabby says this a couple times to the cops on the footage. She says, like, I quit my job and I'm trying to do this full time. So I'm building a website. I'm starting a YouTube. I want to like record this and make money. And he doesn't believe in me, which she says multiple times, which I found weird because then why go on the trip with her? I mean, maybe he just wanted to go to national parks. But I can see why this escalated to what it did. She says that she likes the van orderly and that he was like purposely messing it up and that that's what triggered the big fight.
That's why you need to hang out with people that agree with you. Most of these channels that are like two people, there are people that have two quite different opinions. You can look at ABBA, you can look at Playback. Everybody has different opinion, but you need to be able to disagree like a normal person. The problem is when it's a relationship, you cannot make your difference look that cool without being annoyed by it. Right? It's gonna happen. And the fact that you guys were so much together in a cramped up truck, in a relationship that you're not even that long together. Well, you're kind of long, but you get what I mean. And you're gonna quit your job and do something like this? Whew! I mean, he didn't lose his hair because of it, but it would not surprise me he started losing any more. That's all I'm saying. It's bound to happen, or make it a shorter trip.
So the cops decide they won't charge her with domestic assault and they separate them. And really in the body cam footage, the cops say over and over, Gabby is the primary aggressor. So we're at August 19th, which is 7 days after the incident, and she goes missing August 25th, 30th, around there. So we're close.
Okay.
We're close. So on August 19th, this is 7 days after the fight that the police, like it was big enough that the police came. The couple actually launched their YouTube channel called Nomadic Static, which when I say the couple, I think I mean just Gabby, because it sounds like he wasn't on board with this. Gabby uploads an 8-minute video, yes, of their cross-country travel so far, and you can watch that on YouTube to kind of see what I've explained up to now has been like. It's like to music. They are
so she
talking.
really wanted to actually. She wanted to
Totally.
vlog.
Yeah,
she was
vlogging
everything.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
Also on August 19th, Gabby posts on Instagram showing the interior and exterior of the van. And unlike all of her other posts up to this point, there's no location attached to this photo. So on Instagram, you can upload and say like a geotag, like this is
Yeah.
Like before this, it was like, I'm in Kansas, I'm at this national park, I'm here, I'm in Colorado, I'm in Utah. And now this one doesn't have a geotag, which is weird for a like cross-country van living Instagram. On August 21st, 2 days later, Gabby's father said he placed an Uber Eats order for the couple in Salt Lake City. There's been a power outage. We don't have Wi-Fi and we need food. Can you please order us food?
Was there a power outage? Could you confirm that?
I'm pretty sure this was when there was the big windstorm.
Oh, okay.
Yes, like I ordered them food to Salt Lake. He's positive it was Salt Lake.
Interesting.
And this was the last day that her dad spoke to her. Like on the phone spoke to her.
That sucked.
And August 24th was the last time that Gabby's mom spoke to her over FaceTime. So she saw her face. So Gabby's alive. She's well because her mom is speaking to her on FaceTime.
On the way to The Tetons.
Leaving Salt Lake City,
Okay.
supposedly going to the Tetons. So Gabby FaceTimed her mom about 3 times a week this whole entire time, this whole cross-country trip. She's been FaceTiming her mom 3 times a week. So it was pretty normal for them to talk that often.
Okay.
On August 25th, the next day, Gabby posted for the last time on Instagram. And this is just, it's September what? This was just August 25th.
Mm-hmm.
The photo is of her smiling and holding a pumpkin saying Happy Halloween. Now, once again, this photo has no location tagged. The photo actually, our internet sleuths came together and figured out that this photo appears to have been taken at an artistic hub in Ogden, Utah. Gabby's family says that they still got texts from Gabby's phone until August 30th, which is roughly 5 days after their last FaceTime call where they heard her voice, they saw her.
So my question is, has the family, Gabby's family, said anything about if they thought it was her or not her?
The family has come out since and said that they do not think those texts were from Gabby.
Okay.
That they were short, they didn't sound like her, they normally FaceTimed. It was weird, according to them.
Okay.
The last text that they got on the 30th said no cell service at Yosemite. So Gabby's family said that last text about it saying no service at Yosemite was weird because Gabby had told them earlier that she was heading to Yellowstone.
I thought they were going to the Tetons.
I think after the Tetons, they were going to Yellowstone.
Got it. So there's a hole somewhere.
And I think because the whole time they've been going, it all makes sense, right? Like
Yep.
the whole path really makes sense. But now all of a sudden, instead of just going from the Tetons to Yellowstone, she says no service at Yosemite, which would be Tetons to California, when they're supposed to end in
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, they could have gone to California.
They could have, but they've come forward and said she was supposed to be going to Yellowstone, and so Yosemite was weird. On September 1st, so that was the 30th, right?
Mm-hmm.
That text was sent. On September 1st, Brian returns home to Florida, where he and Gabby had been living with his parents. And we don't believe Gabby was with him. We believe all of a sudden he's back in Florida by himself. Even though on the 30th, she sent a text to her parents saying, sorry, no service in Yosemite.
That is too weird. If you take my son or my daughter somewhere and you come back without him, I would be like, what the heck is happening? And you come back with a car that belongs to him or her?
How did he get back home?
So I think he drove the van.
Oh, I wonder if
Yeah.
this timeline even
Makes sense.
makes sense.
I'm pretty sure he drove the van. Now, you have to understand that not all these details have come out.
So he's back at home.
Yeah, so he's back at home on September 1st. He's back at home. Also on September 1st, Gabby's Spotify playlist that she shared with Brian adds songs to it, which this could have been from her. It could have been from Brian. We don't know. All we know is that on September 1st, songs were added to her Spotify playlist. So after not hearing from Gabby for a while, her mother reports her missing on September 11th. So he came home on September 1st. By September 11th, she reports Gabby missing.
Do you know if the parents were reaching out to Brian and saying,
And Joe and Tara, you've reached out, they won't call you back?
We've called on the 10th. I can't tell you how many times we sent text messages. We're worried. We're calling the police. I mean, if someone texted me that they're calling the police because they can't find my son, I'm gonna drop whatever I'm doing to call me back. But I guess it's evident how they run their household.
Yeah.
They do.
She knew her son was home at that time when we were texting her. At that point, we didn't know that he was home.
Hey, do you know where's my daughter? I talk to her 3 times a day. I'm not hearing anything. The last message was this weird thing. It seems that the parents didn't even respond. And that's what I'm like, whoa, why wouldn't you even text me back or be a little worried?
All I know is that when the whole fight happened with the cops and the body cam footage come out, Brian tells police he doesn't have a phone. He says,
What?
I don't have a cell phone, so if we get separated, this is when they were like, are we going to charge her? There's a no contact order. We have to separate them. He goes, well, I don't have a cell phone, so how's she going to know where to pick me up? Like after I go to the courthouse and say, no, it's fine, I'm not pressing charges.
I wonder if that's been confirmed because she was tagging him in Instagram photos, right?
Yes,
So
and
I
he was
wonder-
posting Instagram photos.
Oh, he was posting. So he
at
had
the same time.
So he had a phone?
Or he was using hers. He was using her Spotify.
He could also use a laptop, right?
It was me and you, and my parents hadn't heard from me. They would contact you. They would reach out to you. So I thought the same thing. But then he said, I don't have a cell phone. So then I'm thinking, maybe that answers my question. Maybe they didn't know how to reach him because he didn't have a cell phone.
So September 11th comes, she reports her missing,
yes.
and that's when I probably started seeing everything on
Yes,
social
and
media.
I think because I know that this is 10 days since the last text they got from her and like 16 to 17 days since the last time they heard her voice and saw her over FaceTime. But you have to understand that it takes a while. Like a lot of people are saying, why did it take them so long? It takes a while to report an adult missing who is on a cross-country trip where the last text they sent said no service, and they are constantly in national parks with no service.
Yeah.
You have to understand that you can't just the next day be like, oh, I think they're missing.
That is a very good point. You cannot reach her wherever she's going, but I'm not sure if you're going from a park to maybe well, it depends. But why would you take a car and leave your girl somewhere lost in the mountains or something? Like the Hills Have Eyes movies. You don't know what the heck. Look, man, I don't want to be any place alone. Even if I'm a 6-foot black man, there's more meat for them to eat. But I don't want to be in any place with no cell phone. No, especially if my group is small, especially if I don't have a gun. I don't want that. And she looks like I'm sorry that I have to say it, but you look like a piece of meat to a lot of people if you're that skinny and that blonde. So the fact that you would leave and feel comfortable about it, I can be angry at my girlfriend for whatever reason, but I would never let her there. I would do something, take her phone aggressively. Hey man, I want to go back home. Hey mommy, you need to pick up your daughter because she wants to travel alone. I would never let, because it's not safe. I don't care what people think about those stuff. It's not safe. The world isn't safe.
Been investigating the disappearance since this missing person report at 6:55 p.m. on September 11th, 2021. They said the second they reported her, we've been investigating.
Is the FBI involved now?
Yes.
Okay.
But that didn't happen till just this week, like just
Okay.
barely. So police actually, the second they get the missing reports, they start investigating, and they are like, well, we have to get to Brian, because her family basically said she left with her boyfriend on this cross-country trip. We haven't heard from her, and we don't know where he is. Since, right? That's his address. They go to his address, and outside of his parents' house is Gabby's van, which is why I think he drove the van back, because how did the van get there?
He had to have.
I think this is a little weird that it was only 2 days between Yosemite and Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's weird. So anyways, they find the van outside, and they're like, well, maybe she's home. Like, maybe she just is mad at her parents. So they go up, they ring the doorbell. They're like, hey, we're here looking for her. Have you seen her? And his parents are like, no comment. And they're like,
With all due respect, I'm so happy I don't have a daughter for specific reasons, which I don't want to focus on, but that's kind of messed up. But if I heard somebody that was supposedly have parents that dated my son or whatever, I don't know where my son is, and something happened maybe, and you tell me no comment. Oh man, I think you guys have no freaking idea how pissed off I am right now. I mean, I'm almost about to cry. Yeah. Ooh. This isn't a video. Okay. No comment? People, come on, man. That doesn't make any sense. I would hold even the fathers responsible for something, because whatever might have happened, if there was a chance they could have saved her, they are definitely making it worse, even if they weren't responsible for whatever.
okay, can we talk to Brian? Because supposedly he was the last person with her. No, you can't talk to him. Here's the number for his attorney.
What?
Yes. So they're like, red flag, red flag, red flag. Something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's not talking, and she's not here. They're like, she's not here. She's not here.
What in the
But her
world?
van is here that she was using to travel with him just days earlier, supposedly.
Holy crap, that's insane.
Yes. So they confiscate the vehicle because it's hers. It's not his. So they take the vehicle, which I didn't know that they had the van. So they take the van and they try to talk to Brian. He says no. Well, his family says no. And this is, for me, what makes this case atrocious and what made this blow up. Because Gabby's family currently, at this point, doesn't know where Gabby is or where she last was and how Brian made it back from Utah, Wyoming to Florida without reporting her missing, like not contacting the police or still not talking to them. So if she died accidentally with him in Utah, like say they were traveling from Salt Lake, Ogden, they made it to the Tetons, so they're in Wyoming, and she dies on accident, why would he not immediately call the police like any other citizen would do?
Well, apparently they're in California, according to the text messages.
Right? Why drive back to Florida and not say anything if it was an accident?
Yeah.
If he killed her in Utah, still, why drive to Florida and not say anything? Why not set up a fake story like every other guy who kills his girlfriend or his wife, put on the crocodile tears, say it was an accident, she just went missing, I don't know what happened to her, someone else killed her, right? That's the usual route for these things.
Yeah. The weird thing to me, like, I understand he's not talking because he has an attorney. It's like I understand that part. I know it's still weird. I know it's crazy, but I get it. It's legal stuff. He has an attorney. I get why he's not talking.
Now,
correct. What's weird to me is that he didn't call the police. Like, if Peyton was in danger or had something had happened to her, if she, whatever it
fell
is,
off a cliff, if I went missing, if someone kidnapped me by gunpoint.
I would have called the police. My first instinct would have been, I need to help my wife.
And playing devil's advocate, if you killed me.
Correct. Well, geez.
But I'm saying, if you killed me, like almost every other case we cover,
there's usually
you would set up a story.
There's usually a normal route.
You would still call the police and be like, oh my gosh, my wife fell off the cliff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the normal route we see for accidental or on purpose. It's just weird. Brian's lawyer actually releases a statement for him. This is the first time he's saying anything. It's a big deal. This is the statement. This is understandably an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. It is our understanding that a search has been organized for Miss Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. On the advice of counsel, the Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment.
What the heck happened to her? Where is she?
So
I'm just thinking about it as you're reading that.
I would like to point out, not once did they mention Brian by name. They said the Laundrie family. Already they're trying to separate him from what happened. They're not mentioning him like they're being legal, right? Like they're doing what they do.
HR move.
So Gabby's family actually releases a statement the same day. They release a statement begging for Brian to tell them what happened to Gabby and where she is, obviously. Even if she just went missing, why not say anything about it? That's what they ask. So Gabby's family releases a statement yesterday, the same day, the 15th, saying, Brian, your silence is reprehensible. We beg you to do the right thing and help us bring Gabby home. Brian, whatever happened in Wyoming happened. The only thing you can control is what you do now. Tell us where Gabby is. You tarnish your love for her with your silence.
So even if it's not your fault, the idea that maybe something did happen and you weren't even there and you don't even want to say the last time where you saw them, the fact that you keep your mouth silent is weird. If they actually find her alive right now or even passed away and he has nothing to do with that, it's kind of weird. You're gonna look bad anyway. Very bad. And it just surprises me that you actually would feel comfortable go back to your parents with the car of your girlfriend that supposedly you were married or maybe not. Or when not married but engagement, you know?
Oh man.
So Brian's lawyer releases the following statement the same day, yesterday, as a combat and says, In my experience, intimate partners are often the first person law enforcement focuses their attention on in cases like this. And the warning that any statement will be used against you is true, regardless of whether my client has anything to do with Ms. Petito's disappearance. As such, on the advice of counsel, Mr. Laundrie is not speaking on this matter.
It's kind of weird though. If I break up with somebody and I take the car to go back, which I assume I would leave them with their own freaking car, why would I not go look for them? I mean, I break up with you, but I don't wish you dead. The fact that you don't go on the search, it is the first suspicious thing. There are many people that I might have hate, but I don't hate them as a human being. But I think there is a sense of compassion that we at least would have with another person. There's a reason we still like our exes in a way or something, no? And this might have been a fresh wound, and then you find out, oh no, she disappeared? Well, guess what? No comment. Did they hurt your heart so bad? Did they cheat on you? I don't know. It is weird.
Like, regardless,
Anything you say can and will be used against you. He's saying even if he has nothing to do with it, it's going to be held against him.
Got it.
That's what I think he was saying.
Okay.
So today, police said they are working with the FBI. So just barely today they announced it. Like you were saying earlier, I don't think it's weird that he lawyered up and is not talking now. I think if it was Garrett, if it was anyone, I would say don't talk, get a lawyer. Never do that. But I do think it's weird that he didn't talk in the first place. I think that's what makes this case extremely weird and extremely gross. I think that their relationship was toxic. I think it was codependent. I think Gabby got triggered and spiraled when Brian tried to leave, like tried to lock her out. That's when things really went bad. That's when things got physical. And I think that he doesn't help her and she doesn't help him. In that like situation right then, that's what I was getting from that relationship. And to me, that means it was just a ticking time bomb.
I don't know if I can judge everything off of that one scene
I
because
agree.
there's just so much to
A relationship, right.
in general. So I mean, I definitely, something's weird.
Yes, I agree.
He didn't call the police. He didn't say anything. He was in, somehow the phone said Yosemite, then we were at Tetons, and it's not adding up.
It's weird. Brian also uploaded photos on his Instagram of pictures of him alone after she went missing.
No way.
Yes. So he wasn't just like radio silent, which if he doesn't have a phone.
He doesn't have a phone. I was about to say that.
Unless he was home in Florida and he was using someone else's phone, or he left his home, or he was using her phone.
Right now, the guy is in hiding. They don't know where the guy is. They don't know where the guy is. And that makes it even worse. They're investigating. Now you disappear. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. As the parents, this would have been something so horrible. And I'm trying to stay calm. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. But I hope they find whoever has done this. They found the body. At least now they can investigate. And I assume that the FBI is staying quiet because they don't want to release specific information so people know what they're doing, so they might be able to hide evidence or whatever. I just wish the family the best. Peace. And I hope this dude doesn't have anything to do with this. Because if it is, man, that's horrible. That's horrible. If you didn't believe the girl and you just followed her through this plan and you see all the damages, then you start teasing her, you guys fight, you guys with the car, and then this happens, and then they disappear, and then you don't tell the parents. I don't know, man. This is like one of the most horrible movies that I've ever had to think about. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. Like, share, and everything. You know how it is. It's kind of weird, man. That's why I'm very serious about life. There's always somebody weird or stupid that you don't know might affect your life in such a horrible way. And you might have just said them yesterday, I love you. You know? Anyway, peace. You know the usual. Like, share, hit the bell button if you really enjoyed this video. And see you guys next time. Peace.
don't get me wrong. Makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam turloqueta verdeta welcome. Den vida mi a tu iniciativa padrei ku indica e também que sum sativa te ainda no que acepta ku eta medicina bob di nang di eta causa rebeldia cooking ainda saki mi kemen laga nang sigi hung gabo manesems di kong no propio studio pasaki eta hasi kubo mi desayuno mental nunca so fatal vai